Shelby's got 19 first downs. They've given up 12, but or 11. They've given up 11 first downs, but so many.
For player, and we'll stay right here as he is up and walking off the field on his own power right now. So Blacksburg will be lining up to try the PAT.
Ken, that pass play by Sims to Cobb covered
17 yards.
17 yards,
yeah.
Okay.
So 47-40, important PAT attempt here for Blacksburg to try to go up by 8. And we got timeout by the Ironman. We'll be back after this quick timeout.
Barrett's Floor Covering in Kings Mountain has just received a big new shipment of LVP flooring. Come on by and check them out. Contact 1 LVP Flooring is sale price at $1.99 a square foot. That's right, $1.99 a square foot. And Shaw Pine Look Flooring is on sale at $2.99 a square foot. Hurry before it's all gone at Barrett's Floor Covering, 150 Dixon School Road in Kings Mountain. Check out the website at barrettfloorcovering.com. See the page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
In the backfield, your quarterback scared, I see it in his eyes. Sent the receiver in motion, that's just a disguise. My linebackers, they stepping up, clog a hole, no letting up. Taking on no big blocks, on fourth down we get big stops. My secondary is balling out, your offense keeps stalling out. How many yards? Like none at all. Call the special teams, don't punt the ball and it's gone. And you never see me fair catch. I get a block and then I'm gone like a Lear jet. My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining in them Friday night lights. Win, win, we just came to win. Win, win, we just came to win. First and 10, we in the trenches.
By number 21 for Blacksburg.
Yeah, number 21, Trayvon Clark, a freshman, made a great play.
Yeah, it looked like Patterson had some running room. Was open. Shoestring tackle, though, dropped him on the 30-yard line. And that's where the Ironmen would take over on their own 30. Trailing 47-40, as Danny and I were saying, they're only a touchdown behind, and a score and a two-point conversion puts them ahead.
Exactly. Be sure to stick with us, folks, on our stadium postgame show. We've got some awards to give out. That postgame show sponsored by Dennis Willis Septic Tank Service here in Shelby. All right, Ken.
Here we go in the fourth quarter. Here's Moss with the carry, but not much running room. No, he dropped right along the line of scrimmage.
He can gain yardage up the middle and off tackle, but coming around the end, he's not going to gain any. So he'll not lose any, but he won't gain any.
So, as Danny said, no gain on the play. 2nd and 10 from their own 30. The scoring obviously slowed down in this half, 47-40 in favor of Blacksburg with 11:15 left in this ball game. Back in the shotgun. Here's a throw out in the flat to Sewell.
You heard that, folks. 47-40. They still have 11 minutes to go in the fourth quarter. We'll keep you updated as much as we can on that.
He will.
Sewell
before we go off the air.
Yeah, I guess this is what we'll have to do, Dennis, because that's a pretty that's still a long time left in that game.
Well, Shelby and Chris still playing too.
Yeah, it's 56-36 in that game. Those two games combined, Dennis, 89 and 87 points in both those games. So they're making sure that everybody gets the score, I guess. Or they're we'll play it like that. Welcome back to the show, folks. Brought to you by CSI Mechanical of Shelby. I'm Kevin Hastings, along with Dennis Davis in the house. We do have some scores, so we'll give you the scores of what we have. Will's somewhere. He's down the hall. Well, he's probably listening to the Crest Shelby game right now. Shelby just scored again. What was the score right now, Dennis? Did we ever hear?
I didn't hear.
Hey, Will, get that score when you get a chance for us, and we'll get you folks updated. In fact, I tell you what, while we got a few minutes here, the Shelby one, Will's going to grab that for us to make sure that we want to post the exact right score for the folks that are sitting at home right now. Let's go over to.
That's a 9-yard run by Tate. CSI Mechanical first down.
Hey, speak to how well Shelby's been playing, even though could be looking at 0-3. AC Reynolds beat by East Forsyth 27-21. East Forsyth ranked number 6 in 4A.
Well,
so, I mean, they're
Crest running some clock, got the play clock down to 5. Game clock at 3:14. They're going to snap it, hand off. Husky's going to throw it over here in the flat to Adams. And nice tackle by Ram Sewell, but still going to get about 6 or 7. So they'll give them 7. And Adams, all the receivers from Crest really have had good games.
Yeah, I think all 3 played well.
I'm looking at the stats. That's 7 catches for Adams, 6 catches for Addison, 4 catches for Green. There's only 3 that have caught a pass, but they all may be. I think Addison and Green are both over 100. Adams has the most catches, but a little bit under 100 still. Now the clock down to 2:26, and Husky will snap it, hand it off to Quentin Tate around the right side. Gets a good block from A.J. Adams. He's going to get the first down. Tackle by Stephon Jennings. See what we got. Got 5 yards, needed 3. So move the change, and now Crest can take this one down to about 140 or so. Been another great one. It's not going to live up to one of the all-time greats, maybe one of the all-time great halves of that first half.
That first half was.
But, it was never the drama of, a team getting it with a chance to tie it or win it. But still a really, really good game, really well-played game. And now Crest will take a knee. They snap it back to Husky in the shotgun.
And, guys, it's just kind of what we've seen Crest through these first 3 games. They get into the second half, and again, they create that separation, and we saw it here. I mean, it's hard to keep up, and we've seen Shelby teams be that same way in the past.
Yeah. Yes.
It's hard to keep up with that team that can just keep coming at you time after time.
now that you mention that, Rob, this team reminds me of a couple of the Shelby teams that had the mid.
All right, folks, Shelby, and they're going to wrap that up here on the radio here in just a few minutes. Chris is taking knees right now. We'll get the final score here in just a few moments on that as Chris is starting to take knees. Blacksburg and Cherville still fighting out 47-40. East Rutherford and Newton Conover was 20-8 last time we checked. Let's check in on them.
What's in this game tonight? Yeah, it's been sloppy with penalty flags. We've had unsportsmanship calls through the roof tonight, but those have mainly been on Newton Conover. Their wide receiver was celebrating after he had a touchdown a while ago. So there's been a lot of craziness. We'll see what East can do. They've got time on the clock. And now here's a warning from the officials for Newton Conover's players and coaching staff to back off, to get back off of the playing field. They were too close, according to the official.
Yeah, one of the reasons why there was nobody covering the slot receiver for East Rutherford there. East Rutherford got that snap off. They might have had a free play with one of the wide receivers over here that no prevail. Now here they are on first down.
Lynn's got to be careful. He's wanting to go to the air, and it's a short pass that appears to be caught out of bounds immediately, but just very little gain to about the 30.
Looks like it'd be about maybe 2nd and 7, 2nd and 6 now for East Rutherford.
Yeah. We'll have the Full Throttle Power Sports Stadium postgame show. We'll quickly run through this one tonight. We'll name some offense, defensive players of the game. The overall player will get that in quickly at the conclusion of our game. 2nd down and 6 after the 4-yard pickup. Wanted to go to the air again. Flynn taking off, keeping the ball, and he only gets to about the 31.
Yeah, bring up a big 3rd down now for East Rutherford. And going back to what you were saying, Paul, you're exactly right. East Rutherford has played too well to lose this game tonight. They need to try to put something together right here and pull out a victory at home. It'd be great for them going 2-1 on the year to start this early season off.
What they've got to do right now is they have got to complete this 3rd down play. They're going to keep it on the ground, nowhere to go, trying to get to the outside. Defense is all over Pinkerton, and it's Matthew Pinkerton this time, and JB loses yards.
Yeah, number 23 there, Devontae Johnson. We called his name a lot for Newton Conover, and now we're really at a critical moment in the game. 4th down, 4th and 9 now for the Cavaliers. Need to try to come up with something right here to make this conversion.
At one point earlier tonight, I think we both were convinced East almost had taken over this game, and we didn't see this happening.
Yeah, I really was.
They're going for it on 4th down. They're deep in their own territory. If they don't get this 1st down, Newton Conover is going to be in real good shape. Flynn looking. He's going to go deep downfield. He's got his man McClellan. He makes a move. He gets away. He's at the 35, 30, 25, 20. He makes another move. He's all the way inside the 10 to the 8-yard line. What a play for the Cavaliers.
Yeah, right on the money. Landon Flynn to Blake McClellan there. Big play on the near sideline there. Now the Cavaliers in position now. Let's see if they decide to go back to Wildcat and see if they can run it in right here. And I tell you what, Newton Conover may have got away from a late hit there. Landon Flynn knew he was going to take a hit from number 34, Jordan linebacker, and still put it on the money to Blake McClellan. So credit Landon Flynn with a great throw down on the left-hand side.
They go to McClellan again, over 60-yard pickup, and it is now 1st and goal at about the 8-yard line coming up for the Cavaliers. What a play, what a call, what a gutsy one on 4th down and long. You gotta give Landon Flynn, the quarterback, a lot of praise on that throw.
Yeah, he really would. He knew he was going to take a lick, and he did. For number 34, Jordan Lineberger stood in the pocket, was able to make that throw deep down the field. Blake McClellan in stride, and man, he make him pay.
That was a Me Pablito 1st down through the roof. Our friends over there with those daily lunch specials. It's the Friendship Dealerships Rutherford County High School Football Clash of the Week. We've got a time. They're the home of Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram, also the Nissan dealership. And we remind you it's 38-32. The lead is in the hands of Newton Conover. Can East Rutherford strike and make a difference? We'll find out as our game of the week continues.
It's a red-hot summer sizzler blowout sale on Bobcat tractors and mowers.
led until a few minutes ago. Newton Conover found a way, and they lead 38-32 at the moment, and it'll also be third down for the Cavaliers when they come back out on offense.
Yeah, they really got to, they can't, I'll tell you what would be a killer right here would be a penalty flag for, some kind of a legal procedure call or something like that and back them up. They cannot afford that.
No.
Anything other than that, anything moving forward, they can live to fight another down and try to put it in the end zone on fourth down. But really need to take some positive yardage right here. I know that, maybe able to catch it. And kind of they're pretty much selling out in the middle of that field. Let's see if they can get something on the outside and see if Blake McClellan or C.J. Jackson, somebody like that, can take it on around the outside edge.
This is going to be a huge play. They're coming out again with McClellan to take the snap of the Wildcat, but they're only going to have one more chance if they can't get it done here. Big play coming up for East. Which direction will he go? They're stacked in tight. There's the snap. He's going over to the right side. Can he cut the corner? He's trying. Can he do it? Yeah, he got beyond the defense. It's the East Rutherford touchdown.
Yeah, exactly the play call I thought he was going to call there. Something on the edge and stuff that they were selling out in the middle of the field. They were get on the right-hand side, credit Blake McClellan, getting over there and making a big play for his offense. Now, here we go. The crucial call coming up here.
With 1 minute and 9 seconds to go, McClellan has had the night of any high school football career with players that say, hey, guess what? I scored 5 touchdowns in one game. That's what that young man has just done.
And guess who's coming on the field? Number 30, Ian Queen, to try to put the cherry on top of the sundae right here with 1 minute left.
This is crucial. There's the snap. There's the hold. Kick is up. The kick is good. It did not look very pretty, but somehow it made it across.
It did not, but he had enough on it, and credit number 30, pressure situation, puts them up now 1 point here at East. Wow. Now Newton Conover has 1 minute left. Let's see what they decide to do, but what a play by Ian Queen, maybe the play of the game by that young man to come in a pressure situation and make that kick.
Well, you talk about having pressure put on you. We've not used you all for a PAT. We're asking it of you with just a minute to go in the game and your team trying to take the lead, and he did that. On the Stanton Enterprise McDonald scoreboard, it's now 39-38. East Rutherford back on top. And, JB, there's just a little over, what is that, 1 minute exactly, or 109?
109, something like that on the game clock.
This game is not over. This team is capable of getting down in scoring position.
And I tell you, I bet East Rutherford is talking about.
We prepare for the kickoff. Blacksburg Wildcats, after scoring another touchdown, lead 53-40, and they'll be kicking off to the Sherwin Ironman. And here's the kickoff.
Ironman down 2 scores here in the final quarter.
It's taken right around the 25-yard line and brought back to
close out the final minute and 9 seconds. We'll find out, and we're going to let you know. Don't go anywhere. This has been a dandy here just outside of Bostic tonight.
Number 30, Queen will come back in once again to kick for the staff.
So we're getting ready for the Isothermal Community College kickoff. Your dream, our mission. Isothermal Community College. Queen's kick from the 40 is a short pooch kick. It's going to bounce. And wait a minute, we've got a flag back where the ball was kicked.
Yeah, it looks like somebody left early for East Rutherford. They'll have to re-kick that ball. And that's the kind of stuff I was talking about. You don't want to be able to do that because so the call is going to be officially, but it looks like it will be against East Rutherford. Too early to be anything else on anybody else. So,
JB, one thing we've witnessed in this game throughout the night is that there have been penalty flags and mistakes made by both these teams that has enabled an advantage to the other team, and sometimes they've got points off of that.
Yeah, and that's really both teams have scored a lot of points off penalties by other teams. That one drive by East Rutherford, I think they got 45 penalty yards by Newton Conover, that drive between the coaching staff and some of the players, unsportsmanlike conduct, and stuff like that really hurts in these top ball games. They're down by 1 point right now.
So it'll be at the 35-yard line now. And there's the kick. He'll go a little deeper with this one. It's taken by one of the upmen at the 38. They better get him. 40, 50, still on his feet, making another move. Still on his feet and appears to be out of bounds, but look where they're going to have the ball. They're going to be at the 39, maybe 38-yard line of East Rutherford for 1st and 10.
Yeah, you've seen one of the coaches for Newton Conover really putting one of the players there. That's what I'm saying. I mean, like stuff like that in a pressure situation, and it looked like it was number one there for them. He's had a great game. Ty Miller just overly excited, and the coaching staff hasn't had to get him under control here, but you're exactly right. Now, you go back to the play before that, where East Rutherford, they had the legal procedure call on the kickoff. Okay, well, that cost them about 15 yards because of that.
Yeah. Well, here's the bad news. They've got 1 minute, and they've still got, I think, another timeout.
You have at least one more timeout, not two.
So in the backfield by himself appears to be what they're going to do here is going to be the quarterback, Logan Adair. So that means we're really going to have receivers lined up awaiting this one. This is going to have to be some great coverage. And wait a minute, have we got a penalty flag on top of this? Oh, my word.
A personal foul call.
Can you believe this?
Wow.
And the coaching staff for East Rutherford is really tore up along the sideline now. This is going to be a tremendous opportunity for Newton Conover. They've got the ball inside the 25. Quarterback Adair rolling out of the pocket, looking. He's going to go downfield, and this time he can't hit his man that he's been going to over and over again, Ryder Bush and Vanko.
Yeah, it's curious they had Ryder Bush and Vanko on one side along with Tom Miller on the same side. They're trying to do some separation plays, not able to get that. But it's only second down there, and they're already looks like about the 25-yard line. And they're giving a warning to the East Rutherford coaching staff. Again, luckily did not get a penalty flag on that. Their defense, their coach is calling out signals to try to make this stop for East Rutherford.
East has really got to pay attention to this right side of the field, JB, because that's where the quarterback loves to keep going, and that's how they got those 2 touchdowns the last 2 times they've scored. Adair again looking, wanting to get out of the pocket. He's trying to run. They've got him, and they're going to bring him down, thank goodness, at the 20-yard line. We're down to 46 seconds on the clock.
Looks like Newton Conover will call a timeout right here to stop the clock.
Wow. So they burn a timeout. East trying to hang on to what is a 1-point lead with 45.8 seconds on the clock.
Yeah, you mentioned him rolling to the right. He's exactly right. He's right-handed, so he's able to roll to the right. He's able to get a little bit better accuracy on that ball because I saw him roll to the left a couple of times, and that's what he made mistakes, and that's when, if you remember, number 10, Matthew Pinkerton almost picked him off in the first half right here. Made a great play to knock the ball down, but almost had an interception. When he's rolling left, he's not as effective when he's rolling right. Luckily for Newton Conover, if I'm them, I'm feeling okay because they're on the left hash. But East Rutherford, as you mentioned, Paul, really has to pay attention to the right-hand side of the field and the right-hand corner end zone because he's really effective rolling when he's rolling that way.
Out of the timeout, it'll be 3rd down and 8. The ball just shy of the 20-yard line, and all alone in the shotgun is quarterback Logan Adair in the backfield. Triple receivers to the near side, 2 to the far side. Looking. He's going to throw it up in the air, back of the end zone. It's a touchdown according to the official. Newton Conover has got a touchdown in the back of the end zone.
I could not tell who made that catch there, but, Newton Conover said, hey, we're going to throw it to the best player on the field. He's going to go up and get us a touchdown here. And that, man, how big was that? But it all started with a penalty, right here on the kickoff, and then a penalty for unsportsmanlike penalty late in this game. And now Newton Conover's got a big lead. But still took them 20 seconds to score. East has 40, so maybe they can score another touchdown when they get the ball back.
As crazy as this game's been, anything's possible. But I believe that might have been the guy that slid it up in the second half, wide receiver Ryder Bush of Vanco may have been the one in the back of the end zone. It was somebody that had a little bit of height, and the ball was well thrown.
Yeah, but they've got some good receivers between him and number 1, Tom Miller. Wow, that's some really good power that they got at the wide receiver position for Newton Conover.
It is 44-39 with Newton Conover back on top. So they're going to go for, looks like they're going to go for 2 here. If they do, that would give them a 7-point lead with East having a chance to get their hands on the ball one more time.
Well, the officials are talking about something, not sure what it's going to be.
There's still one of the assistant coaches feels like that the players' feet may not have been in the back of the end zone, but we don't have instant replay here.
They're going to call a touchdown. It is confirmed. East Steeler coach staff not happy with that call. However, it will stand on the field.
Yeah, we certainly cannot see where the feet were from our vantage point. That end zone was piled up with players, by the way, as well. This was in the very back of it, but the official standing right outside of the back of the end zone made the touchdown indication. A quick pass caught, and it is in the end zone. There goes Ty Miller. So it's 46-39 on the Stanton Enterprise McDonald scoreboard. Newton Conover has regained the lead.
There's a penalty flag down the field. Let's see what the call is going to be. Another BAM LLC penalty flag.
Of course there's another penalty flag down.
They're a sponsor with us, so
We'll be right back.
Since 1986, Witherspoon Insurance Agency in Shelby has been serving families across Shelby and Cleveland County. And today, Wayne Witherspoon continues the tradition of bringing you the best insurance at the best possible price. With names like The Hartford, Safeco, Progressive, National General, and Travelers. Drop by the office today at 125 North Lafayette Street in Shelby and talk with one of their friendly hometown agents. Witherspoon Insurance Agency, your independent insurance agency since 1986.
Your train comfort specialist is CSI Mechanical in Shelby, serving this area since 2010. CSI Mechanical's goal is to provide peace and comfort with respectable, dependable, honest, and reliable customer service for everyone. They pledge to keep their pricing competitive and fair with no hidden surprising costs. 100% customer satisfaction is their goal. From air conditioning to heating to HVAC repair and maintenance to commercial refrigeration. Call on CSI Mechanical Located at 410 South Post Road in Shelby. Call 704-600-6267. Online at csimechanical.com.
Post-game show on KTC Broadcasting, the CSI Mechanical of Shelby post-game show with the Reverend Dennis Davis, the Deacon Will Boykins, the Youth Pastor Kevin Hastings, and Music Minister JP. Our usher is not here at the moment. I hope he's going to be coming. Is he coming, Kevin?
Yes, Steve will be here, JP.
Okay, I didn't know Steve was going to come or not.
You all right, Will? Welcome to
man.
the show, brother.
Hey.
Welcome to the post-game show, folks. It's been a good night of football. I mean, the points on our scoreboard is just ridiculous. We're running out of
Defense.
room.
Defense.
None
Ain't
tonight.
none. Ain't none. No worries.
Not a single person has wrapped up tonight, except East Wilkes, who won 48-2.
Yeah.
They did a good job. So, but for the most part, a lot of points on the board. And
I mean, the Burns game was a little cool. Burns Kings Mount game.
That was about the lowest game we had. Is 23-14.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to be the lowest winning score, doesn't it, on our board tonight? Let's see.
It was a slobber knocker.
East Surrey won 20-0, and Alexander Central had 17, and Christ the King of 17 with their victory. So, Kings Mountain with the third lowest victory points tonight over the Bulldogs, 23-14. That 3, they got a safety there at the end.
Was not a safety. That's a horrible call. That messed up that game. I think Burns goes down and score.
Mm-hmm. So we can go over it in time to talk about it. I might be able to pull it up here in a little bit if we got a video of it. I think Tanner got it.
We discussed it on Red Zone.
Yeah, for the folks on the post game show, listening on the radio, Burns quarterback Will was kind of hit in the end zone, shook it off, then another guy hit his arm while he was throwing, right?
Yeah.
And so the line of scrimmage was the 5. The ball landed on the 1. There was a receiver at the 10
in the area.
Right. So he was not within 5 yards of the pass. I don't know the exact high school rule on that. He was within 9 yards, definitely on the video. But again, the quarterback was being hit while he was throwing it. So I do not think he was intentionally trying to throw it in the ground right there to avoid the sack. I think he was trying to complete the pass. He just didn't get it there.
I think it was a factor here of somebody was tackling him, and he went to throw the ball, and in the process of throwing the ball, his arm got hit, and the ball's trajectory went into the ground rather than to the receiver by about 5 yards, and they said it's intentional grounding. And I think Burns has a legitimate complaint in regard to that. Mm-hmm. I'm sure Coach Devine will be sending some film to somebody.
Right. I'm sure the video will be sent in. Can't exactly say it cost them the game, but you're down 1 score. It costs you an opportunity maybe to get back and win the game. And, can't say you lost the game because of it. No. You can say you lost an opportunity to tie the game because, once you get the 2 points, now you're down 2 scores, and then you got to punt it back to them, Dennis. So that's the killer on that. And it's one of those things where if they're going to make that call, they need to be sure that's the rule. Whether like I said, whether we know if it's right or not, we don't know. But what we'll say is they better be right when you make that call, because, like I said, you gave them 2 points.
In the game, you don't get involved in the game.
Right, you gave them 2 points, then you gave them the balls at the end of the game.
At the end of the game,
it really ended the game.
You don't get involved at that point of the game.
So
unless you have to,
we'll let the Burns folks explain what they think. And again, well, you still had 95 yards to go. It's not like it was like on the 1 yard line or anything like that. But score.
But at Burns had caught some traction at that time. Defense was playing well. Defense had played shutout in the second half because Kings Mountain scored all their points in the first half.
And other than the safety, it would have been a one score.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, no, Burns has a legitimate argument to whether Whether it was the right call or not, we'll let the refs and the professionals handle that. Blacksburg 53-46 right now. Cherville cuts the lead.
Oh boy!
Extra point, no good. I don't know how much time's left, but that
Probably
game's
an hour and a half.
still going. I mean, Kings Mountain Burns ended, and there was like 11 minutes in the fourth quarter in that game. So Cherville is for you folks on 92.9 still haven't got to us. So it's 53-46 currently up in Cherville right now. You can listen to that game on 92.9 FM for you Blacksburg fans listening to us in the Cleveland County area right now or online. You can actually listen to that game. 53-46 Blacksburg leads the Ironman. So let's see back where I was going to go with that a minute ago. Where was we before I started reading that? You want to read some more scores, Will? Anything on there that's popped up that we haven't mentioned yet? We were talking about that Kings Mountain call,
we was talking
a
about
few
that,
minutes ago, and
but
whether or not.
I'm sure they're gonna call in, and we'll have a big discussion about that. How about the game tonight at Shelby should have been watch 6. So you had a 6 on one side and a 6 on the other side. It should have been watch 6. Make sure you cover 6.
Well, the problem is, Will, you couldn't stop 6.
You couldn't stop 6.
Neither team stopped anybody. 91 points on the board. Chris 3-0, Dennis, but you've given up in 3 games. Do some math real quick. 105 points. So, like I said, a little leaky.
Defense.
Y'all are in the Big 12.
Hey,
just try to score as many
Kevin,
points as you
the
can.
last time I looked, they give you a W if you score more than the other team.
Right. That's all that matters. So Christ the King will take our 17-7 win tonight.
3 weeks, and Chris has scored over 40 points all 3 weeks.
Yeah. Offense running good. Defense a little
Defense
leaky.
needs some help.
Kings
And get
Mountain
yours
got a
because
14
we're going to get
tonight.
ours.
East Lincoln still. I don't have the final on that one for you.
Yeah.
East Lincoln and folks are still
I
waiting
predict
on
that
that
East
one.
Lincoln will have more than 28.
Yeah.
Well, I predict that maybe Lincoln can have more than 7.
I think we concur here.
Final score in Surrey Central, Mount Airy 56, Surrey Central 0.
There goes some defense play. Now we was looking for some defense.
There's a shutout.
And there's a shutout.
Don't have nothing on the Pisgah game up the hill. West Meck was up 30-21. Still, last time we checked. Bessemer City final score 46-0 over the Avery County.
City played a little defense tonight.
That's how you send somebody home, Will, right there.
There you go.
Bessemer City 46.
Is that score right?
Y'all eat that donut on the way home, Will.
Is that score in the top left corner? Is that top right corner that score right?
Yeah, South Point loses tonight to
my,
Charlotte
not the
Christian
Red
Knights 41-36. Now, Charlotte Christian is one of those, they're in that independent Christian league. They've got 1,200 kids in the school, but the school is K through 12. So they've only got like 450 high school kids, which would be a 1A school if you look at it that way. But they won tonight over South Point, 41-36.
Yeah, but all they athletes are brought into that 400.
As I said, I have no idea about what
But
Charlotte
their
Christian
athletes
does.
are recruited.
This goes back to the Middle Ages, Will, because you had the Knights defending against the Raiders.
You did have,
and so the Knights won here.
Last number on the board, Hendersonville up 50-8 over East Henderson. So that game is winding down.
They're going back to Tennessee over the hill.
Let's see. What else are we missing up there? Pisgah, that score's not come across. Owen and North Henderson. I haven't seen anything on that as well either. Did we have a final on that Swain County yet? Yeah, I did. 40-13 over Franklin. So folks watching at home, final scores coming across the board. East Gaston is now a final 35-14 over Stuart Kramer. Trying to listen to that Cherville game if they ever get back into.
Did you say 45-14?
On 35-14 East Gaston.
Okay, 35.
Halftime, Statesville leads South Iredale 22-7 was the last score that came through on that.
Wait a minute. Statesville's winning tonight?
They are right now.
They must have got offended at my Alpo comment.
They are. Don't have a score on Bishop McGinnis right now tonight. I don't think I even had them on the board tonight. I don't think I did. No, did not. Oh, and that's the. Come on, give me some more scores. Give me some more scores. So, folks, I don't have anything on North Henderson, Hendersonville, Pisgah, and Hampton. I mean, North Henderson and Owen, Pisgah, Hampton. That's about it. The rest of the scores, we're kind of waiting on them to finish up and come across the board. We're going to have some highlights here and talk to all of our announcers here in just a minute. Tom tried to call, but JP didn't answer. JP, Tom tried to call you. Try to call back, Tom. We're going to talk to Thompson and Fine at the Burns game. We'll talk to David Potter here in a minute, who did West Lincoln, and when he gets home as well. Go back in there. He's about to call. Okay. Steve, you can do whatever you want. I don't care what you do. If you want to come in, call. I got a piece of pizza up here. If you want to talk, you do whatever you want to do. Do you got him on the phone now? Okay, we'll put him on then.
What?
Steve, you there?
I can't hear you.
Maybe.
Push the button, JP. Oh, no.
That's not Steve. Dial tones can call, Will, but they can't win prizes. Dial tones can call anytime they want, but they're not allowed to win prizes. We're talking to Stefani here in just a few minutes. We're going to talk. They said Bobby Bell was at the game tonight.
He was.
Yeah.
Bobby Bell. I'm going to pull a picture up there real quick. Let's see.
Well, he was over at Red Bridges Barbecue the other day. He used to work for Red Bridges back in the day.
Oh, okay.
And then he went out to Kansas City, played a little football out there, but he also opened some barbecue places in Kansas City. Showed them what real barbecue was.
I guess absolutely. There's Bobby Bell, former Kansas City Chief, NFL Hall of Fame legend on the field tonight.
Former Cleveland High School star.
All right, we got Steve DeGree on the phone. Steve, what's up with you, brother? Steve, you got me?
Steve, you got it?
Yeah, you got me?
Yes, sir.
How y'all fellas doing?
We doing good. How about you?
Oh, I'm hanging in. I'm good.
Big game tonight, Steve. A lot of points scored, not a lot of tackling. 53-38, Crest over Shelby in the big rivalry game. Your coach for Shelby, you'll give us a little perspective on what you guys thought or saw tonight.
All I know is this is if both teams going to go forward, we got to both tighten up our defense. We were able to run the ball on Crest. I think that's going to be Crest Achilles heel from now on out. They're going to be able to help stop the run. We basically ran one play. They ran like 7 times in a row, and they never stopped us. But on the other side, you're going to have to outscore Chris to beat them. Because I'm telling you, those 3 receivers, them guys are really great. And we had a couple of touchdowns called back. Of course, they had one called back, too. Hard-fought game. Real proud of our guys because we're trying to break in our new sophomore quarterback, and some of the he is going both ways, and it's just a really hard-fought ball game.
Well, Steve, you're talking about both defenses need to tighten up. What do you think both teams need to work on? Is it run game, pass game, tackling? Early season, a lot of people don't tackle too well early in the season.
Right, a little bit of both. Probably that's why we didn't try to show up our back end, but like some of those passes that Husky threw, we had them blankered, but their receiver just outmaneuvered our defensive back. And like last touchdown we scored, I don't really know the rule of it. Chris punted the ball. The punter dropped the ball, picked it up, and we hit the kicker. I thought if the ball hit the ground, he becomes a runner. So I don't know the clarification on that, but then they gave the ball back to Chris. So I don't know what the ruling on that is, but I didn't particularly like that call. But anyway, we just have to keep on going, keep on keeping on. We got Olympic next week, and then we start our conference. So.
Well, you got Olympic next, like you said, next week. That's a big team coming in. You guys have never played them before, Steve. So I guess you're going to have you just got done with the Crest game. You haven't looked at them yet, but I guess that'll be a big week with you guys never playing Olympic before, and you're going to welcome him into Shelbytown.
Yeah, a lot of Mecklenburg County schools don't like to play out of county because they got so many schools down there. So we were fortunate to get the game in the place of High Brighton, because I don't think High Brighton wanted to play us on that one game series. So we had to get another opponent. So Coach Wilbanks were able to get the Olympic game.
Well, all right, Steve, you got any other news notes? You guys got any questions for him?
That Olympic game is a good game for. I mean, Shelby keep putting up the tough competition, and once they go into their regular season,
it's a hard fought game, and Chris scored more points than we scored to win. But anyway, I still like our guys from where we started to where we are. They played hard and laid it on the table. But I really think if we'd have got the ball back on that play when they called it roughing the kicker, where we might have could have scored again. I don't know, but I don't know.
Well, who was the Burns guy that used to coach at Olympic?
I have no idea.
Okay. Well,
I'm
doing this.
But I know the Shelby Middle School coach is coaching the Olympic now.
Okay. Well, your buddy Jim Romer sent me a picture of him and Bobby Bell in the press box tonight, so I figured you ran into him.
Yeah, I saw him. He was down on the sideline. Actually, he's home for the Cleveland School reunion.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, and I'll be going to that. All the people that went to Cleveland High School, Bobby's supposed to be the guest speaker.
I think he was the quarterback over there, wasn't he, Steve?
The what?
Didn't he play quarterback at Cleveland?
He did. He played quarterback.
He was a great all-around athlete,
but then
my point.
When they went to 12, man, he played quarterback.
And then he went to the Minnesota Golden Gophers and was All-American up there before he went to the AFL and played for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Right. He was an Outland Trophy winner also in Minnesota. And his roommate was Carl Eller. Purple People. His roommate was his roommate in college.
Okay. Well, that's a pretty good roommate. He played a little football too, didn't he?
Yeah. Also, trivia question: Bobby Bell is the first outside linebacker to be conducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Well, there you go. And he's from where?
Shelby, North Carolina.
They named a pavilion over there at the farmers market, Bobby Bell, and he's got a nice road there in Shelby named after him too. So it's nice that we recognize these men who've been successful outside of Shelby and give them credit for what they've done.
I'll be anxious to see what he got to say tomorrow at the banquet. So I'll be attending that. My sister and my family come from all around. Matter of fact, my cousin is here from Philadelphia. He played on the first integrated team here at Shelby High School back in 1967. So he's home for the reunion, too.
Well, I spent many years coaching and teaching with a young man who played over there by the name of James Sonny Bird, and I know many of those Cleveland High School folks will remember him. He was a great, outstanding fella. Ended up coaching basketball, went to, I believe, NC Central down in Durham, and was a real close friend of mine, and may he rest in peace.
He was also quarterback at Cleveland High School. Remember, my brother was a quarterback back in the day. Sonny Bird was quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah. There you go, Will. Well, Steve,
I tried to call in, fellas, because I doubt I could make it up there. I'm still on the campus. I ain't even got off the campus yet.
Yeah, I figured you was probably still stuck in traffic and everything.
I started to say there might be a few other cars down there trying to get out.
Yeah, football team, they behind me too, so they still over here.
Oh, wow.
But anyway, fellas, I had to call in when they lose, when they lose, I'm going to pull the line.
You was going to call in whether y'all won or lost.
Rain, shine, sleet, snow.
You always call in.
Win or loss, you can count on Steve. He'll call in.
Yeah, that's where you got to take the good with the bad. We won more than we've lost, so we'll go back Monday and Coach Will might have another good game plan for next week.
And Steve, you know how Cleveland County works. From here on out, all the Crest people will be wishing Shelby the best, and the Burns people will be wishing the Kings Mountain folks the best, and vice versa. And it's a county rivalry game, but when it comes to playing somebody else, we all pull for Cleveland County.
Did the Red Raiders win tonight?
Red Raiders got beat tonight, 36-41 by Charlotte Christian.
Wow.
Yeah.
I bet that was a quick game, probably a lot of running.
Yeah, South Point, in my opinion, is not the South Point that they have been in the last few years. You know, you have your ups and downs, as we all know. Each program does it, and South Point is dangerous, but at this point in the schedule, they're not as good as they have been.
But one thing South Point will be able to do about Dennis this year, they will be able to throw it. So Patrick Blease, we did 7-on-7 on him, so the young man can throw the ball. Like, he's a young guy too. He was only sophomore, so and to be interested on down the road, see what's going on.
Yep.
Well, fellas, I'm gonna take it on in, and I guess we'll see you next week. Probably won't be as crowded. Maybe I'll be able to get up there.
All right.
See you next week, Steve.
We'll save you a morsel of food next week.
All right, brother. Y'all have a good night.
Thank you.
Say.
All
JP,
right,
what
Will.
else we got in there?
JP,
We're waiting for Tom.
waiting for
Waiting
Tom.
for Tom.
It's the story of my life, waiting for Tom. Okay.
Well,
in the meantime, Will, entertain us.
We had tonight Kings Mountain winning over Burns 23-14. Had Crest winning over Shelby 53-38. Fred T. Ford falls to West Lincoln 49-20. Blacksburg over Cherville 53-46. I don't know if that game's even
I
finished
started to
yet.
say, is that over?
So we don't know if that's a final yet. Newton Conover.
Is that final?
That is final.
Okay, and that was
Newton Conover over East Rutherford 46-39. Lincolnton, we don't know the final yet. Lincolnton in 20 was losing to East Lincoln 28-7. And High Brighton, big winner tonight, 50-7 over West Caldwell.
Squeaked by.
Drone with the upset, 33-24 over East Burke. Watauga 47, Maiden Blue Devils 21. Brevard 34, Irwin 14. East West is that West Wilt Central. Excuse me, I apologize. Wilt Central 47, Patton 0.
We don't have a final
Don't
on
have
that,
a
but
final
I'd
on
say that it might be safe to think that West Wilkes pulled that one out.
I think that's a safe bet. 48-6. West Henderson over Polk County.
Yeah.
We got Bessemer City 46-0 over Avery County. Highland Tech falls again, and 50-0 to Union. What is that?
Union County Cardinals.
Union County, is that Union South? It looks like they say Union South.
I think that is over the other side of Charlotte Union.
Okay. Union County Cardinals. And then we got East Gaston Warriors over the Cramerton Storm. That is a surprise.
Yeah, 35-14.
35-14.
East Gaston's got it together a little bit this year. They're doing good. We got, let me interrupt, Will. We got a caller. Who have we got?
Hey, guys, it's Tom. How's it going?
Hey, Tom, I'm going to let you go ahead and tell us about the Burns Kings Mountain game. I do want to talk to you about a kind of controversial call at the back end of the game. But go ahead and you take off and you give us.
Well, in the first half, you saw the defensive struggles continue. I mean, Kings Mountain has 3 possessions 3 touchdowns and weren't really able to slow them down, but in the second half made some adjustments and did a great job, caused a couple of turnovers and got back in the ball game. Just didn't have enough offense in the second half. But I do want to talk about, even in a loss, that the progress of the team I thought was good. I mean, starting to believe in their defense and, moving some guys around, like one thing I noticed that Marshall McGowan's back standing up in the middle of that defense, playing middle linebacker. I think it's just critical for him to be the quarterback of the defense back there. I thought that made a difference. He had 8 tackles and 1 for a loss, and they moved a couple of kids around, moved a kid up from the JV. So I think those adjustments are going to pay off down the road. So improving, yeah, I just want to see that, and that's the one thing I was worried about the most was the defense this year. But just come up a little bit short. I mean, I know you guys want to talk about the call, but he's in the end zone. He's trying, he's struggling. He's about to be sacked. He throws it away. And I guess the ruling was the ball wasn't past the line of scrimmage. I mean, it looked like it was at the feet of Johnny Johnson there. I couldn't really tell. To be honest with you, Will, I don't know the rule enough to criticize the official on that. I just thought in high school it's if there's a receiver in the area, it's incomplete. If you're throwing it away, it has to go past the line of scrimmage. So basically what they ruled is it didn't go past the line of scrimmage and the receiver wasn't close enough to the ball. So,
that is
like a holding penalty or anything like that in the end zone, it's a safety and the ball game's over.
It's different when there's contact. There's
different when there's contact to the quarterback.
Yeah, contact is made to the quarterback's throwing arm in that process of him throwing that ball out of the end zone.
Yeah, I don't really think that was the case. I know he was under pressure and he's getting rid of the football. Now, whether it hit his arm or the guy was draped on him, I mean, it's hard to see from up there in the press box. I can't say definitively. I'm not going to sit here and say the ref blew the call, but it's pretty tough to end a ball game on a 50-50. You know what I mean? I really think it could have went either way, and unfortunately, it went against us, and that was the ball game. Not say we're going to win. We're still 95 yards away. It's not a gimme by any stretch of the imagination. But once you make that call, the game's over, and that's just a tough break for our boys. But like I said, I was pleased with the improvement on defense, and I think we get a couple of adjustments, and we're going to be right where we need to be come playoff time.
Well, Tom, the big thing is that was a non-conference game. It was a county rivalry game, but it was not a conference game. And you should be focusing more on that game at the end of the year against what I saw as a much improved Shelby team tonight. You're going to have your hands full, as always, with Shelby, and Shelby's going to have their hands full with Burns. And I think we're going to see the same thing. It's going to be your offense versus their defense come the final game of the year. And in between then, I think you boys can work on some new things and get some players into action that maybe haven't had as much playing time and develop that quality that you'll need to go on into the playoffs with.
Yeah, I just saw that Crest scored. Shelby gave up 53. I mean, that's just that Crest offense is really good. But I think Shelby's like us that has a few questions on the defensive side of the ball, too. I know that had a few issues in the AC Reynolds game and that night. I mean, Crest has got so many weapons. I mean, you've got Addison, you got Adams, you got Green, you got Husky, you got 14, the running back's name slips my mind now. And you got the kid from Gaffney. I think his name's Tate. I mean, Crest has just got weapons all over the place, man. Anybody's going to have their hands full with them. And, when I saw that score, I'm like, yeah, Shelby gave up a bunch, but I'll tell you, that's probably the best Crest offensive team I've seen in a long time.
That running back you were asking about is Adrian Carson, and he is
Carson,
good.
That's it. Yeah, Carson. Yeah, I couldn't remember his name, but I mean, they're just really loaded on the offensive side of the ball. But you talk about our conference, and this is really where the part of our season where we have to, we're stepping up. We're playing some good 3A competition. I really think, after seeing both Crest and and Kings Mountain. I think Crest has got the upper hand right now as far as who's the best team in that conference. A lot of games to be played throughout the season, and people got to make adjustments. People got to move around. People are going to get hurt. But in seeing that Crest offense and Kings Mountain, don't get me wrong. Now up front, they're good, Dennis. Their front four is good, and they got a couple playmakers on offense. They don't have as many as Crest. They're not as explosively on offense as
their
Crest.
Defense is very solid.
Their defense is pretty stout.
Offensive line is very solid. Skill positions, Crest probably has an advantage there. So it's going to be an interesting final game of the year. Tom, I got a quick question. I noticed that you were maybe thinking about using up your eligibility at Ohio State, but we could use a kicker over at Crest.
That old picture came across. And I was like,
But
it looks like I'm on my way to Columbus on that one. So
have you still
had a
got
little
any
fun
high
with that
school
this
eligibility?
week. Got to have a little fun, opening weekend college football is going to be fun. But
Your
moving
old school
forward, we
needs
got a tough game at Alexander Central next week. It's always tough to go up there and play at their place. But just want to remind everybody we'll have video coverage for that. I appreciate the folks up at Alexander Central for letting us come do that next week. So we're going to try to put a game together and get a good non-conference win up there next week, and we'll start heading into our conference season, which to be honest with you, I wish was a little tougher, because come playoff time, these games here against these top level 3A teams will really help us out. Really help us out moving forward. And I think we're going to get some things straightened out. I know that we've lost a lot of guys it's hard to replace, but I do think that our staff did a good job of making some adjustments, especially in that second half. Shut out that Kings Mountain offense in the second half, I thought was a outstanding job by our players and our coaches.
All right, Tom, we appreciate it. Best of luck to the Burns Bulldogs as you travel on the road next week, and we can tune in and listen to you on KTC Broadcasting and view the game on YouTube.
That's correct. So you'll have it on our broadcast. It won't be on KTC Broadcasting because they'll have the Cherville game and whoever Kevin covers, the Shelby or Crest. But we will be on YouTube only. So
YouTube
KTC will
only
have
next week.
Crest, Shelby, them, and we will be on YouTube. So you can watch, listen, or both. We will have video coverage next week.
All right. Thank you, Tom.
All right. Appreciate you guys. See you in the morning, Kevin.
All right. Have a good night, Tom. Thompson and Fonnie and the Burns Bulldogs broadcast, KTC Broadcasting. Final score in that game, 23-14 Kings Mountain. Cherville's final score, 59-46 Blacksburg. 59-46 Blacksburg in a just absolute shootout in Cherville tonight. The Blacksburg Wildcats win. We're going to talk to David Potter, LincolnCounty.com broadcast here in just a few moments about his game tonight and what's going on in Lincoln County. West Lincoln won tonight 49-20. North had the night off. East Lincoln was up 28-7 on Lincoln last that we saw. And if we get a final score on that, we'll let you guys know on that. Of course, a couple of other scores that I don't have. Folks, if you listen on the radio, folks, I keep talking about what you can look at and what you can see. You can watch this show every Friday night on YouTube, KDCBroadcasting.com for the links, YouTube KDC Broadcasting page. We show the scores. We show some highlights. We show a little bit of everything. We talk to all of our announcers.
I started to say, Will, that it'd be worth tuning in just to see you and me.
28-14 is the final score. East Lincoln over Lincoln. 28-14 East Lincoln.
I see. I won that battle there.
Wait a minute. East Lincoln only had 28?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I thought you said 49.
I said I thought the Lincoln Wolves would score a little more than that 7, and they did. By golly, I got it.
There you go. Well, let's see. 28-14. I missed that.
Is that your car selling voice?
No.
You need a bowler hat and talk like that.
No. I
at
had
the car
that one
lot. You'll sell some cars.
48-14. So Lincoln must have played some better defense tonight than I anticipated.
Better defense than what we expected.
Yeah.
All right, David Potter on the line tonight. Had West Lincoln and Ford, LincolnCounty.com game of the week. David, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Hey, there you are. Hey, David. How's you and Scott tonight? Broadcast over at West Lincoln. Rebels with a 4-touchdown win in the Battle of Hog Hill. How many years have they won that in a row? Do you know, David?
It's got to be at least 4 because that is the 27th consecutive loss for Fred T. Ford.
Correct. Last time they won was February 25th of 2020 in the spring.
COVID season, first game, and they've
spring season.
Lost 5 after that, and every one after that as well.
That is true. 20 points tonight, though, on the Rebels. Tell us a little bit about that game.
Yeah, I don't know if you could say. There were a lot of substitutes in for West Lincoln late in the game. When they got a couple of the touchdowns, one was legit, the 57-yard run by. I kept getting the names backward and forward all night. It was a 57-yard run. I'm losing what mind I have. Oh dear God, this is not good. Blowing this on live radio here.
That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
McCorkle.
Insurance.
Oh, so
Mari McCorkle had a 57-yard touchdown run. And that was against the first-team defense. But at that point, it was already 28-0, and West went right down and scored again. So it was never in doubt at that point. And then Coach Ponder put in a lot of substitutes. We had to have the roster out in front of us the rest of the game pretty handily. It's like, who's this? Who's this? Who's this? They had it well in hand. The final margin really wasn't indicative of how much they really dominated the game.
Well, David, we're going to up next week. You've got? Let's see, East Rutherford coming to North Lincoln. Is that correct?
That is correct. So that'll complete the rotation. We'll have seen every Lincoln County school in the first 4 weeks.
All right, so LincolnCounty.com game of the week. We'll go down a little bit of your schedule, guys. So you'll have North Lincoln this week coming up with East Rutherford coming into town. They were in a barn burger tonight with Newton Conover. They lost 46-39. And then the next week on the schedule, Bunker Hill at Lincoln, and then Statesville at East Lincoln. We got some big matchups coming up here on the LincolnCounty.com game of the week.
I think that's different than what I've got. There's been some changes, I think, after you laminated this, so I could be wrong.
Yeah, you've got different on your laminated sheet, I believe. We did have a couple quick changes.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure what I just read is right.
East Rutherford, North Lincoln next week. So, one game at a time, as the coaches say. I'm not looking ahead.
We did talk to Coach Ponder a little bit this week before the game. Anything you learned from that you might want to mention to the fans or anything?
Well, I think the thing that's really standing out is how, I guess, little they're missing Mason Avery. I mean, you got a generational back there, 2,300 or 2,600 yards, some ridiculous number last year. But they're not missing a beat. And I think the big reason is what Coach Ponder mentioned. They've got 4 of their 5 offensive linemen back from last year. The only one that graduated was Curtis Goins, and they're not missing a beat because they just blew Fred T. Ford off the ball most of the night. Ford does have a problem with tackling. The first guy that hit somebody doesn't seem to make the tackle, and they just give up. There's more broken tackles and stuff, but that line play for West Lincoln is really good. I mean, I've got them down for rushing for 400 yards tonight.
Oh, wow.
That's just West Lincoln football. We're going to line up. We're going to run at you. They had 7 or 8 different guys carry the ball. Caden Smith rushed for 113. The quarterback, Gideon Allen, rushed for 120. It's just balanced. Jalen Winnick had 72, but he had 2 or 3 big runs called back because of holding penalties, or he'd have been in the 120, 130 range. So they've just got a lot of weapons there, and Gideon Allen does a great job running the offense. Very smart player. They threw more than they usually do, and there were 3 or 4 times he rolled out looking to throw, didn't see anything, didn't force it, just tucked it in, ran the ball, got a few yards, kept the drive moving. So West Lincoln is going to be a very good team. Whether they can beat the Bunker Hills and the Maidens, that remains to be seen.
All right, David. Well, I want to thank you for you and Scott and everything y'all did tonight. And, of course, next week, folks can listen to East Rutherford and North Lincoln. So if you Rutherford County fans listening and watching tonight, next week we'll have the Cavaliers not on Waggy. It'll be on LincolnCounty.com with David and Scott. Thank you, David. And real quick, players of the game, do you got those off the top of your head?
Yes, I do. Sub of the game. Oh, geez. I've got them on the top of my head, and it goes away quickly. But offensive player of the game was Caden Smith of West Lincoln. Defensive player of the game, there's a freshman defensive back for Fred T. Ford, Jay Mayfield, 6'1", 170, freshman defensive back. He was making tackles all over the place. That's not usually a good sign when it's your defensive backs having to make a lot of tackles. But he's the only freshman on Fred T. Ford's roster, and he was definitely the star of their defense tonight. And then the overall player of the game was Gideon Allen with his 120 yards rushing and another 60 yards passing.
Well, I appreciate it, David. You have a good weekend. Have a happy Labor Day.
And same to all of you. And college football tomorrow, baby.
Yeah. All right. Wait a minute. You're Nebraska fan? Is that who'd you tell me?
Wrong Big Red there, big boy.
Oklahoma. That's what
Oklahoma.
There you go.
That's another one of those maroon teams.
That's not a real red. That's maroon.
That's maroon.
It's crimson.
Scarlet.
Crimson and cream.
What'd you say, David?
Crimson and cream.
Crimson is what you guys call it. Everybody's got their own colors. All right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, who they played? Who they played more?
Arkansas State tomorrow.
Oh, tough matchup. Good job.
Oh, boy.
Hey, come on. It's the first game.
Somebody has to play him, right?
I know this.
I thought our scrimmage games
We're doing Arkansas State a favor, probably about $1 million worth of favor.
I'd look, if they're scared to come to Boone, it's okay. We understand. The Sooners don't want to come make the trip.
Wait a minute. They're playing Gardner Webb tomorrow.
Yeah, right. That's the only people that
we needed the money.
Pay somebody. All right, David, have a good weekend, brother. Go Sooners for you.
All right, thanks. Same to all of you.
David Potter and Scott Tudor, LincolnCounty.com. Game of the week. They've got West Lincoln 49-20 over Ford tonight. And, of course, next week, like I said, East Rutherford at North Lincoln. We're going to be talking to Paul Foster. Speaking of East Rutherford tonight, they fell tonight, 46-39. We'll be talking to Paul or Jonathan here in just a few minutes. And we still is there someone we haven't talked to yet besides that? Cherville is still on the air.
We haven't talked to Robbie Roop.
So 92.9 don't have us yet.
Or Jeff Jones. We haven't talked to Jeff.
But who do I got? Paul? JP hits him. I don't know who I got. He just gives hand signals. I got to learn sign language. One of us got to learn sign language. Now? Who we got, JP? You don't know?
It said wireless caller unless there's a caller ID. I don't know.
You're supposed to pick it up, say hello. Who is this? Who's on? Somebody's on the radio right now. Who's on?
And I would tell you it's Paul Foster. Good evening, gentlemen.
Are you? Do you have any proof you're Paul Foster?
Do you have any proof that you're Paul Foster? Because right now we don't know what JP.
Well, my voice is about gone after such a long game tonight, but hopefully you can take my word for it.
Well, you're not the only one tonight, Paul. Let's see. Your game had 85 points. Cherville is at 105. West Lincoln 69. Shelby 91. So between those four games, we had about 350 points in 4 of our 5 games.
Goodness.
Well, tell us a little bit about yours. Newton Conover pulls off the victory by 7 with a late score there in the game.
Yeah, it went back and forth, especially once we got into the fourth quarter. East Rutherford had built a good lead going into halftime, was up 20-8. They hung on to that for some time. And then both of these teams' defenses have got a long way to go. These are football teams that at the moment are just not going to be built to shut down the opposition and to do much about that. So they're going to have to outscore their opponents. And East Rutherford got it going in particular before halftime by running the Wildcat. So they went away from quarterback Flynn, who's got a pretty good arm, and the Wildcat was really successful in a game that they lost tonight McClellan, the running back, who's also on defense and special teams, he had 5 touchdowns. So that's going to go down as a memory in this young man's career, 5 touchdowns in one night. And the Wildcat was just very successful. But every time East Rutherford would retake the lead, when Newton Conover got the ball back, they had enough athletes to make big plays, and they did it more so going to the air than running the ball, which East Rutherford did for a while. So back and forth we went, and one of the reasons the game went so long was we just had one of those officiating crews tonight that threw a flag every other play. There were tempers. There was unsportsmanlike penalties throughout the night on both teams. I thought one of the East coaches was going to be sent to the locker room at the end of the night because he went out there and got physically in the faces of the referees. So it was just a bizarre, crazy game, but penalties and delays, and you would have thought we didn't kick off till 8 or 8:30 tonight instead of a 7:30 kickoff. But if anything, I hope lesson from this. Their guys are getting better. They're is really coming together, I feel like. Going to definitely have to it's pretty easy for Newtover to find a way to get back down on their side of the field, and you know, they just had enough time with a minute on the clock to score at the very end. Hey. Yeah.
Sorry,
I'm
Paul,
not hearing you guys.
Sorry, Paul. I didn't have my button on. I said go back over the real quick exactly what happened there. You was kind of going in and out. Newton and East to end the game there.
Yeah, sorry about that. It just came down to neither one of the defenses for these teams were just able to make the stops when they needed to. I was hoping East Rutherford could find a way. So with just barely over a minute on the clock, Newton Conover got set up with real good field position. This might have been on an unsportsmanlike penalty against East, so they already had it on that side of the 50. So with a minute and 9 seconds to go, they ran a few plays. They got a pass in the end zone, the very back of the end zone. The receiver went up in the air, brought both his feet down and won. So, yeah.
All right, Paul. I'll hit my button at some point this week. We were just talking to David and we just lost Paul. We were just talking to David and them about East Rutherford going to North Lincoln next week. Paul and Jonathan will have RS Central at Chesney. So RS Central at Chesney next week. We did have Chesney before on KTC Broadcasting a few years back, so it won't be the last time. We've got almost all of our scores in tonight, except for Hendersonville, East Henderson. Our last score we got was 50-8, Hendersonville over East. The last score we got from Starmount was 47-14 over Forbush, and the last score we got from Statesville was 22-7 over South Iredale. Still waiting to talk to Rob Roop for the Crest Chargers, and then I'm going to go through some scores as we wait on that phone call, and then we'll talk about what might be in the top 10 next week. All right, let's go through the scores. Kings Mountain 23-14 over Burns. Crest 53-38 over Shelby. West Lincoln 49-20 over Ford. Blacksburg 59-46 over Cherville. Newton Conover. I got to turn you on, Will. Sorry. Newton Conover wins 46-39 up at East Rutherford tonight. East Lincoln 28-14 over Lincolnton. Highbrighton 50-7 over West Caldwell. Drone 33-24 over East Burke. Watauga comes down the mountain and takes care of business in Maiden 47-21. Brevard 34-14 winners on the road at Irwin. Wilkes Central 47-0 winners on the road at Patton. West Henderson tonight 48-6 over Polk County at home. Vesper City at home tonight 46-0 over Avery County.
Lose everybody this night. They had
coach changed and lots of
yeah.
things.
They're 1-2 on the season. They have won a game. Union County Academy 50-0 over Highland Tech. East Gaston 35-14 over Kramer. Asheville Christian 43-14 over Jefferson. Community School of Davidson beats Corvion Community 35-28. Christ the King 17-7 over Lake Norman Charter. Tuscola 44-22 over McDowell. Swain County 40-13 over Franklin. Roberson 35-7 over Smoky Mountain. North Henderson 44-7 over Owen. Pisgah wins 42-14 over Hampton, Tennessee. Mount Airy 56-0 over Surrey Central. East Surrey 20-0 over West Stokes. East Wilkes 48 and gave up a 2-run homer to North Wilkes. 48-2 or double, 2-run single. No, 2-run wild pitch. How about that? 48-22 South Caldwell over North Surrey. Ashe County 40-0 over West Wilkes. Alexander Central 17-13 over North Iredale. Ashbrook falls 30-20 at home against West Meck. Forest View 27-19 over Freedom. Providence on the road at Huss wins 41-20, and Charlotte Christian wins at home tonight over South Point 41-36. And do we have Rob on the phone? I don't know who.
Yeah, guys. What's going on, guys?
Hey, Rob. Did it get a little exciting over there tonight for you, Rob?
Yeah, guys. I tell you what. Once again, Chris starts season 3-0, and I'm gonna tell you what. It's again, you got to be able to go toe to toe with this Crest offense, and we saw it again, similar to what happened against Burns. Crest was able to score with that green kick return for the touchdown. Going into halftime, Crest is up 3. You know they're going to get the ball back, and yeah, they had to punt the ball. Shelby wasn't able to score though to close it back. Crest gets it up. They go up by 10. Once Crest starts to get that separation, guys, it is really difficult to try to keep up with them. This Shelby team's going to be really good before it's all said and done, but this Crest offense is really something special.
Well, we were talking to Thompson about Burns, and, of course, their offense, sort of like Crest, is better than their defense. Kings Mountain, their defense is better than their offense. I'm going to see a sort of a parallel here of that Burns and Shelby end of the season game. It's going to be the Burns offense versus the Shelby defense.
And you know, guys, here's my thing. I know we're talking about, how good these defenses are and everything, but just like I take Chris, for example, this defense has seen Gaffney, this defense has seen Burns, and this defense has seen Shelby. We're talking about a team, Shelby, last week that just on paper annihilated a great AC Reynolds defense. When you look at the numbers, they just couldn't get that timely score to finish it. You got that Gaffney team and what they're doing after that, Chris. I mean, they put 60-something last week. I had a chance to check this week. And then we know what Burns is offensively. So we're talking about whether or not a team has a good defense, but we're talking about teams, guys, that have opened the season playing great offenses. So are we sure how good these defenses are? They may not see many more teams that are better than what they've seen.
Well, Rob, one thing that surprised me a little bit tonight, one of those games that we, put on the bulletin board and look towards is South Point. Tonight they got beat by Charlotte Christian 41-36.
But I tell you what, guys, after watching Chris play Country Day a few years ago, I look at the private schools a lot differently. A matter of fact, that Providence Day team that just wore Charlotte Catholic out tonight. I mean, you're talking about teams that are very disciplined. They're going to do what they need to do on the football field. They're not going to beat themselves. I have to agree. This South Point team is not last year's South Point team. I thought they were better defensively, but I think offensively, what South Point does, they're going to be really good with the fullback and Bleed. So again, to see a team lose to one of those private schools in Charlotte, again, watching a team like Country Day and how well they're coached, they're not going to be flashy. They're not going to do anything that's going to blow you away, but they're not going to beat themselves. But again, at the end of the day, South Point's going to be South Point, and they're going to be tough to beat.
Yeah, but that final game of the year, Kings Mountain and Crest, is going to be a slobber knocker, as we like to say.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You're exactly right. I mean, right now, I think that's 1-2 in the conference. However you want to shake it out with that Crest offense, that Kings Mountain defense. I kind of like to compare that Crest receiving core. It's hard to find a better group of receivers than what Crest runs out there receiving-wise. On the other side of things, there's harder to find a better front four than what Kings Mountain throws out there on the defensive side of the ball. So you're talking about some great talent, kids that are going to play at the next level, and we're very fortunate to see that here in the county. So, but again, a lot of football still to be played. I think for both Crest and Kings Mountain having this bye week going into conference play, is going to be big for both teams. They can focus on themselves for a week. They know what they've got after playing some good football teams. Be able to focus on themselves this week and then turn their attention to conference play. I think it's going to be good for both those teams.
Well, Rob, I agree with you. They're sorted out at this point. Everybody sort of knows where they stand. The coaches can look at that player right there and this player over here and make progress towards conference championships. And then you can start thinking about playoffs. Don't go like that old saying, playoffs, you know.
And I'm going to tell you this, there's a team out there, and I think I just think you got to be careful with this team, and that's under Huss. You know, I know their numbers are down, but they're still going to line up with a lot of great athletes. They played Providence tonight. I think it was a pretty good score with them. And then what they did last week, I believe, was High Brighton they beat last week. Just keep an eye on this Hunter Huss team. That's going to be a team they can't sleep on if you're Kings Mountain, if you're Crest, if you're South Point. Don't sleep on that Hunter Huss team because they've got the athletes to do some things. You're going to have to stay focused. I think you can beat them, but you got to stay focused and get the game against a team like that.
Well, Rob, as you know, you beat Gaffney, you beat Shelby, you know, you beat Burns. So far, you're 0-0 in the conference.
Yeah,
and all
exactly
that
right,
changes
Dennis.
when you come back and you start playing conference opponents. Those are the ones that really count towards the final.
Yeah, you know, the thing with these three games, they're big because of the RPI. And, you know, if you run that table and other teams run the table and are undefeated, that RPI is going to be so big that you're that one seed. And I think this is one of those years when I look at the top half of 3A, when I'm looking at a Crest, at a Kings Mountain, at a East Lincoln, at a West Charlotte, at a Dudley. I mean, there's 7 or 8 teams that I think are legit state championship teams. You want to make sure you get as many of those games at home. It's going to be so important this year in the 3A playoffs.
Well, you hit the nail on the head there, Rob. That road is a lot easier when you're playing at home than it is every game on the road.
Oh, absolutely right, Dennis. I remember that there was a couple teams for Crest that I thought could have been state championship winners. That one Crest team that I remember had to go on the road. They had to go to Asheville. They had to turn back around. They had to go to Charlotte Catholic. Then they went to play for a state championship, and they got to the point where once you go into that bucket to reach to pull something else out, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And they had to go to 2 very difficult places on the road in those playoffs. And once they got to that state championship game against that Northern Guilford team, there just wasn't anything there anymore after you'd taken care of Charlotte Catholic in the week before that, Asheville. So you want those games at home because going on the road is extremely difficult.
Well, I remember that team with Bullard and Ledbetter and playing at Charlotte Catholic, and they won the game and lost the championship because those men gave every ounce they had. And by the next week, there was nothing left.
Yeah.
The tank was empty.
Absolutely right. Well, guys, I'm going to get off here. I want to touch base with you again. It was great to see another Crest Shelby game. That game never fails to be a great game. We were talking during the broadcast. Even when you'd watch one team make a great play, the other guy was making a great play too. You just had to say, hey, congratulations, you made the better play, especially the first half. Crest pulled away in the second half, but the first half of that game was about as well-played football game as I've seen in a long time. The officiating seemed to be really well. The only thing that shocked everybody was we had an aiding the runner call, and I can't tell you the last time anybody had ever seen that call. But the officials, I thought, did a great job. I know there was some controversy in the Burns Kings Mountain game, but I thought overall pretty good officiating job for the Crest Shelby game. And again, a great crowd, great environment, and let's all move on to another week. And now everybody goes their separate ways until that last week of the regular season.
And as for Shelby and Crest, we'll see you next year.
Absolutely, Dennis. Y'all guys take it easy. I'll talk to you later.
Thank you, Rob.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, thanks, Rob. All right, JP, we need to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll do all the scores and highlights to end the show here on KTC Broadcasting.
It goes so
Your train comfort specialist is CSI Mechanical in Shelby, serving this area since 2010. CSI Mechanical's goal is to provide peace and comfort with respectable, dependable, honest, and reliable customer service for everyone. They pledge to keep their pricing competitive and fair with no hidden surprising costs. 100% customer satisfaction is their goal. From air conditioning to heating to HVAC repair and maintenance to commercial refrigeration. Call on CSI Mechanical, located at 410 South Post Road in Shelby. Call 704-600-6267, online at csimechanical.com. When Willis Flooring in Shelby has a sale, they have a sale. And now it's their super duper Labor Day sale. Not for one day, but for 2 whole weeks through September 15th. Coming out for huge discounts on the entire line of flooring. Tile, carpet, hardwoods, laminate, sheet vinyl, vinyl plank, Core-Tec, and more. Everything is on sale. It's the best time ever to buy at Willis Flooring. 2247 Kings Road Extension in Shelby. Call 980-404-0065 and like them on Facebook too. Since 1968, Putnam Distributors in Patterson Springs has been serving this area with a full line of automotive products, including oils, transmission fluids, antifreeze, filters, chemicals, parts, and supplies for all types of automobiles and trucks, with many brands to choose from. They sell to individuals or wholesale. Just visit the walk-in counter. Putnam Distributors, 1626 Peterson Drive off Highway 180 south of Shelby. Call 704-487-9395 or visit the website at PutnamDistributors.com. Putnam Distributors in Patterson Springs, offering quality automotive parts and supplies for over 50 years.
The foot doctors of choice for many in this area are Doctors Jeff Mooney and Ron Maskarnik at Foothills Podiatry. In fact, people come to Foothills Podiatry from miles around for gentle but state-of-the-art foot care. Our staff truly cares about your needs. You can expect top-notch medical and surgical care from a staff dedicated to quality service. Whether a repeat patient or a new one, come see us soon at Foothills Podiatry, 707 North Morgan Street in Shelby.
Foothills Podiatry is proud to welcome Dr. Gretchen Lawrence to their practice.
If you're not bundling your insurance with Allstate, you might have fear of missing out, or FOMO.
You're too old to say FOMO.
But people who don't bundle their auto and home with Allstate...
No, FOMO's about fun stuff, not insurance.
But what if people use the money they save to pay for that fun stuff?
Okay, fine.
Your local Allstate agent is Damon Scott. Give him a call at 704-484-3463.
Switching to Allstate is worth it.
Savings vary, subject to terms, conditions, and availability.
The committee to elect Kevin Gordon is having a gun raffle on December 1st at 7 o'clock at the Waco Volunteer Fire Department. Only 2,000 tickets will be sold. 10 different guns will be given away. For the complete list, go to the website electkevingordon.com. Also, more information on how you can win will be available on the website. Guns provided by Jack's Pawn and Gun in Kings Mountain. Again, for more information, go to electkevingordon.com. This announcement paid for by the committee to elect Kevin Gordon, Cleveland County Commissioner.
And we're back on the CSI Mechanical of Shelby postgame show with the ministry.
With the what?
With the ministry.
Hey, he went
We
blank.
got the pastor, deacon, minister, and the music minister.
He
So.
went blank.
Oh, you're the choir director. I forgot.
I'm music minister.
He's short-circuited in there. All right, we're going to start with some highlights. Then we'll give the scores to end the show. How about we're going to do Crest and Shelby first? Let's see if I can. That's
I'll
Gaffney
save
Crest.
those for the end.
Gaffney Crest, Gaffney Crest, Gaffney Crest. We want Shelby Crest. There we go. All right. We'll find us. All right. Highlights tonight brought to us by Shannon Allen.
You done seen the hit of the week already?
I don't know if I have or not. I don't know if we have or not on our highlights. We'll see what we can find here in just a moment. We're going to start off, folks. As always, highlights and our scores are broadcast at What's Up Shopper on Twitter. And so what you're watching, folks, is what we watch, and our reporters out at the fields getting the touchdowns. This is a first quarter score. Let's get some sound. Let's see. I'm going to hit mute here. Go here. How about that for the folks at home? Get some sound for us out there. Drew Holyfield made it 7-6. Shelby. Then the field goal. by Lopez made it 10-6. Shelby over Crest. Let's see this score. By touchdown by Crest. Husky with the keeper. Fake pitch. We'll show it again for the fake pitch. Yeah, it was a little late pace. I don't think they really cared at that point.
Like 3 yards in.
Wait. He might not have got that. Let's see. 52. Was his mask or shoulder? He grabbed his head. Husky grabbed his mask like he grabbed his mask. We'll trust him that he did. Here's around the end. Isaiah Bridges. He gone. He gone.
Hey, watch 6.
Wait a minute, isn't there a flag on this?
No, on this. 17 to 12. There should have been on the coaches out on the field. Look at him. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get on the field. Get off the field. How about touchdown Crest here? Husky to Amari Adams with the pass in the corner of the end zone.
That was nasty. He got mossed on it.
All around good play there for Crest. That is actually, I think that was, is this the one that said almost got picked too? Jeff was talking about maybe?
No, that's not the one that almost got picked. That's a Shelby play that almost got picked.
Okay.
That one.
Touchdown. Farmer to Rams. It says Farmer to Ramsor, I think. From Shannon.
He jumps up right there and then goes through.
Good pass, good play. Here's the kick return. Short kick.
Kicked it to the wrong guy.
I was about to say, if you're going to kick it short, folks, you don't kick it to that one. That's the whole point of kicking it short, right? So you don't kick it to him.
So you don't kick it to him.
And then you kick it short
They
to him.
They didn't see him pulled up.
He's standing right. He didn't move. He took 2 steps to his left. Look, I'm blaming coach for not kicking on that one. Kicker was told to kick it right. Coach just said, wait a minute. Go left.
They moved him.
Go left.
They moved him.
All right, this is Husky to Malachi Addison.
Little shake and bake.
With a touchdown.
Slide
end zone. So Husky looking left, finds him. He got missing by himself.
Now slide and glide.
Slides
there
into
you
the
go.
end zone. All right, Husky to Javarius Green. This is one where he goes up court, I believe. This made it 40 to 24 over the top. Nice little pass from Mr. Husky. Drew Hollyfield makes it 40 to 13. Cuts the lead for Shelby. And then 47-30, Husky to Addison again. Shelby in the all black and all Crest in the white with yellow hands. We'll watch that replay one more time. I don't know how he got behind him that quick. I don't know what that DB did. He got lost within 5 yards for Shelby. There's Bobby Bell. Talked about him earlier. And that's the game, folks. Crest wins tonight over the Shelby Golden Lions, 53-38. Now let's look at some other highlights from around the area. This is Cherville and Blacksburg. Nice little pass here for the Ironman. Looking left. Gets the comebacker back over there. Sorry, I was looking at the other screen.
That's 77. That's a big kid.
Yeah.
For Cherville.
So this is, I got to do something weird on this one. All right, hold on for folks here. This is a fumble, a scoop and score. There's the scoop, and there's the rest of the score. The video was half. There's a scoop, and there's a score for the Ironman. That made it 14-0. Will Ironman up big, and it didn't really matter as it just nobody could stop anybody in this game. Let's see. Get on over. Cherville, this made it 14-7. Ironman. Oh, this is Blacksburg score. Nice little run. Might have been down. We'll have to see the replay on that. All right, this is Cherville making it 20-7 on Blacksburg. We've seen some of these on the red zone. We've got some Bedford City highlights that have come through, and the Kings Mountain Burns are just now starting to come through as well. We'll skip the Blacksburg highlights. How about Ironman scoring here? What's this pass, Will? This might be the play of the night. Hike it.
Well, the game took
if they took, yeah. Nice little rolling left. Ironman quarterback stops, pops, throws it from 42-yard line. Just a straight top jump ball. And the Ironman player won it.
Who was that caught that ball?
I don't know. I don't have the name. Danny and Kenny. It was good. I mean, he threw it 42 yards in the air. Caught right on the goal line over 2 defenders. That might be the play of the night. Blacksburg going up 27-26. Cherryville again. Like I said, folks, this game was just nothing but back and forth. Danny and Matt had a great game. I mean, Danny and Ken had a great game announcing that game tonight. Great time. Hey, how about Bessemer City? It's made it 38-0. I just hear a wordy dirt from someone. Sound like a coach. That's the best one in the white one. Blacksburg going up 41-34 here. Round the end for the Wildcats. And this is the last one, 47-40. Oh, just beat on the toss to the corner. All right, let's see. Got a little interview, post-game interview. Sophomore quarterback Gavin Chastain of Bessemer City.
Hey, I'm going to try to be a good guy throwing the ball tonight. How's it feel to be the leader of the offense as a sophomore?
Good, man. It's good. I put in the work. It took everybody. The last 2 weeks we were our way. We stepped up. It took everybody. Give credit to the O-line, all of them.
Can barely hear me. Juwan asked him about being quarterback as a sophomore and gave some credit to his offensive line there. So nice little video there. You folks, you can see those that interview and more and all the replays on the What's Up Shopper Twitter feed. All right, guys, let's give our scores. I'm going to run through these about as quick as I can, and I'll let you guys comment and talk about it before we move on for next week. All right, folks, listen on the radio as quick as I can. Then I'm going to give top 10. All right. Kings Mountain wins 23-14 over Burns. Crest 53-38 over Shelby. West Lincoln 49-20 over Ford. Blacksburg 59-46 over Cherryville. Newton Conover 46-39 over East Rutherford. East Lincoln 28-14 over Lincoln. And High Brighton 50-7 over West Caldwell. Drawn 33-24 over East Burke. Watauga 47-21 over Maiden. Brevard 34-14 over Irwin. Wilkes Central 47-0 over Patton. West Henderson 48-6 over Polk County. Pisgah 42-14 over Hampton, Tennessee. North Henderson 44-7 over Owen. Roberson 35-7 over Smoky Mountain. Swain County 40-13 over Franklin. Tuscola 44-22 over McDowell. Hendersonville 50-8 over East Henderson. Christ the King 17-7 over Lake Norman Charter. Community School of Davidson 35-28 over Corvion Community. Asheville Christian 43-14 over Thomas Jefferson. East Gaston 35-14 over Kramer. Union Academy 50-0 over Highland Tech. Bessemer City 46-0 over Avery County. Charlotte Christian 41-36 over South Point. 41-20 Providence over Huss. Forest View 27-19 over Freedom. West Meck 30-21 over Ashbrook. Alexander Central 17-13 over North Iredale. Statesville 22-15 over South Iredale. Ashe County 40-0 over West Wilkes. South Caldwell 48-22 over North Surrey. East Wilkes 48-2 over North Wilkes. Starmount 47-14 over Fort Bush. East Surrey 20-0 over West Stokes. Mount Airy wins 56-0. And those are your scores on the CSI Mechanical post-game show scoreboard. And folks, real quick, our top 10 tentatively, and unless I did some fuzzy math, we're going to go from our top 15. How about this? Statesville's going to be 15, Maiden 14, West Iredale 13, RS Central 12, Chase 11, Mountain Island 10, Hickory 9, Community School of Davidson 8, Bunker Hill falls from 3 to 7 without playing, Bandy's falls from 1 to 6 without playing, West Lincoln Rebels. Terry's going to talk about this all morning tomorrow, Will. You might want to turn in. Their number's 5 in the power poll. Number 4 is the East Gaston Warriors with 7 power points. And the top 3 teams all tied with 8 power points. Crest at 3, Kings Mountain at 2, and East Lincoln at 1. And only took 3 weeks to get there, Dennis, and that's probably where most people would have had those 3 teams from the beginning. Remember, East Lincoln last year with that dominant defense.
Yep.
Real quick, I did want to mention one thing as far as talking about that Crest defense. You had played some good teams, but I do want to mention this. If I remember correctly, the last time you won the state championship, wasn't it like 110 points total on the whole season that you gave up? I think
something along
it was
that
less
line.
than 10 points a game, and so far at 105. So you need to buckle that down just a little.
Hey, we got 5 more to go.
7 more. But that was playoffs and everything.
44,
under 100 points.
44 opening weekend.
Do what?
44 opening weekend.
What are you talking about? Ratings?
No. 44 opening
Who's
weekend.
playing that? 40... Is that JP? That's not you? It's one of my screens in here was playing something. Go ahead. Sorry, Will.
44 points in the opening weekend.
Yeah.
40, what was it, 47?
Oh, 44-38. Crest, you talking about the Crest Gaffney score?
No. 44, they scored 44 points against Gaffney.
Yes.
They scored, what, 49 against Burns? What was the score against Burns?
Yeah, hold on a second. I'll look.
And 53 tonight.
Yeah. So you've got 146 in 3 games. You've give up 105. So your average score, Will, in those 3 games is 48-35. It's not where you want to be, but you'll take it, right? With 3-0.
And how many W's did we have, Will?
What do you mean that's not where you want to be?
Do what?
3 W's.
If your average is 48-35, that means you won every game, right?
Yeah,
that's true, but you don't want to give up 35 points a game.
And if we go to the state championship game and we give up 50 points, but we score 60 points, we'll still be state champions.
Y'all want to make that bet right now? Y'all act like East Lincoln don't exist. And they didn't dog walk.
Wait a minute,
Kings
they got
Mountain
28 points against Lincoln.
They dog walked Kings Mountain last year
in a game that they never should have dog walked Kings Mountain.
Destroyed them. Oh, he wasn't even close. It was bad.
It was
bad.
Well,
and then they went down to state and destroyed whoever that is. I'm just saying.
Okay,
y'all better be careful. East Lincoln
what do you mean?
exists.
East Lincoln is who?
The champs. That's who.
Okay.
The champs are here.
Okay.
The champs are here.
So we talking about.
Wait a minute.
The champs.
Wasn't that last year?
Yeah.
How many points do you get for being
They're
champs
overlooking
last
East
year?
here and acting like they
not
don't
overlooking.
exist. And Crest is going to win the championship this year, 50-40 over somebody. I don't know who they're going to play in the East. They're going to beat somebody 50-40. That's what y'all just said. That's fun. Anyway, that's gonna be a big game. It was 7 weeks away. We got to wait on that. East and Kings and
Kings
and Crest. Bad thing is, what was the seed in last year? Was it 8th or 9th or 10th? Whoever loses that game, do y'all remember?
Yeah, it was. It was terrible, and it digs a hole that you got to get out of.
Mm-hmm.
So that Crest Kings Mountain game is very important because they start seeding these, yucky conferences ahead of you. So you end up with one home game and on the road against Hillbilly Tech somewhere.
Hillbilly Tech.
All right, we're going to end it on that one. Because you can't take him anywhere. All right, folks, next week we've got, let's see, Burns Alexander Central, Olympic at Shelby, Cherville at North Gaston, RS Central at Chesney, and East Rutherford at North Lincoln on KTC Broadcasting.
Olympic at Shelby is going to be a better game than what you're thinking.
I'll bet you Crest doesn't get beat next week.
Should be a good game. Crest will not get beat next week. All right, folks. We'll see you next Friday night. KTC Broadcasting.
They're playing Hillbilly Tech.
You like the water cooler. You be on the bench. Think your team better, but they lack skill. First snap, I lay your backs in the backfield. Your quarterback scared, I see it in his eyes. Sit that receiver in motion, that's just a disguise. My linebackers, they stepping up. Clog the hole, no letting up. Taking on no big blocks. On 4th down, we get big stops. My secondary is balling out. Your offense keeps stalling out. How many yards? Like none at all. Come special teams, come punt the ball and it's gone. And you never see me fair catch. I get a block and then I'm gone like a Lear jet. My helmet on, pass strap tight. My jersey shining in them Friday night lights. Win, we just came to win. Win, we just came to win. First and 10, we in the trenches. You like the water cooler, you be on the bench. Think your team better, but they lack First snap, I leave your backs in the backfield. Your quarterback scared, I see it in his eyes. Sit the receiver in motion, that's just a disguise. My linebackers, they stepping up. Clog a hole, no letting up. Taking on no big blocks on 4th